Article 1 has two key clauses. First, it defines the Philippine archipelago. This includes all islands and waters, meaning that the Philippines is not only a land-based but also a maritime state. Second, it introduces the concept of internal waters, the waters around, between, and connecting the islands of the archipelago. This constitutional definition was crafted to reinforce the archipelagic doctrine, ensuring that bodies of water between islands, such as the Sibuyan Sea or the Visayan waters, are not international waters but part of Philippine territory. This was a direct response to colonial history and maritime disputes. The scope of national territory is not limited to land. The terrestrial domain covers all land within the archipelago, including the subsoil and insular shelves. The fluvial domain includes rivers, lakes, and internal waters. The aerial domain refers to the airspace above land and water. International practice, as illustrated in the case of U.S. versus Cosby, this is a persuasive U.S. case, recognizes that states have sovereignty over the airspace above their territory, subject to international aviation agreements. In Magallona versus Ermita, the Supreme Court held that Republic Act 9522, or the Philippine Baseline Law, and the Supreme Court upheld this law, no? And clarified that Philippine territory includes both areas where it exercises sovereignty and areas where it exercises jurisdiction under the United Nations Convention, the Law of the Seas, UNCLOS, such as the Exclusive Economic Zone. This means sovereignty is not absolute over all waters claimed, but jurisdictional rights exist under international law. The archipelagic doctrine treats the entire archipelago as a one unit. Unlike states made up of contiguous landmass, an archipelagic state's sovereignty extends to the waters connecting its islands. This is constitutionally enshrined in Article 1 and internationally recognized in the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, particularly in Article 46 to 54 of the UNCLOS. Under UNCLOS, archipelagic states may draw straight baselines connecting the outermost islands with waters enclosed considered archipelagic waters. However, there is a there's a subtlety here. Under UNCLOS, archipelagic waters are subject to archipelagic sea lanes passage, giving foreign vessels certain rights of passage. So the right to innocent passage. The Philippines asserts this to prevent fragmentation of its territory. In Bayan versus Zamora case, the court explained that agreements like the Visiting Forces Agreement did not compromise sovereignty, since sovereignty includes the capacity to allow or regulate foreign presence. The archipelagic doctrine thus strengthens the unity of the states. The Philippines is bound by UNCLOS, which we ratified in 1984. This treaty defines maritime zones, internal waters, full sovereignty, no right of innocent passage unless permitted. Then we have territorial sea, extends 12 nautical miles from the baseline, subject to innocent passage. Then we have contiguous zone, extends 24 nautical miles where the state may exercise limited control to prevent violations of customs, immigration, and sanitation laws. Then we have exclusive economic zone, EEZ, extends 200 nautical miles from the baseline. Here, the Philippines has sovereign rights for exploring, exploiting, conserving, and managing natural resources, but it does not have absolute sovereignty. Continental shelf, the seabed and subsoil extending to the outer edge of the continental margin or up to 200 nautical miles. Okay, you have there continental shelf. Then Magallona versus Ermita case clarified that while sovereignty applied to land and internal waters, jurisdictional rights exist over EEZ and continental shelf, sufficient to protect resources but not to include all foreign presence. This distinction is crucial in maritime disputes. The 2016 Permanent Court of Arbitration (PCA) ruling in Philippines versus China under UNCLOS was historic. The tribunal invalidated China's sweeping nine-dash line claim, holding that China's claim had no legal basis under UNCLOS. The decision affirmed that areas like the Reed Bank are within the Philippine EEZ and Scarborough Shoal, Bajo de Masinloc, through a traditional fishing ground, falls within uh, though a traditional fishing ground falls within Philippine jurisdictional rights. However, China rejected the award. This illustrates the tension between international law and power politics. Domestically, the decision strengthens our constitutional claim in Article 1, showing that international law supports Philippine entitlements. So if you're asked about the dispute, always anchor the answer on UNCLOS, the PCA ruling, and Article 1. Cite Magallona versus Ermita for baseline law validity. And since this demonstrates a mastery of both constitutional and international law. So, summarized jurisprudence here, Magallona versus Ermita clarified that Republic Act 9522's baseline law aligned with UNCLOS and did not diminish territory. Bayan versus Zamora affirmed that allowing foreign troops under agreements did not violate sovereignty. And finally, the PCA award in 2016 provided international affirmation of Philippines' maritime entitlements. These cases are central for the bar. Remember that Article 1 interacts with UNCLOS and jurisprudence, meaning that our constitutional law on territory cannot be studied in isolation from public international law. So to conclude this part, always remember Article 1 defines Philippine national territory in a way that is broader than geography. It includes land, waters, airspace, seabed, and subsoil. The archipelagic doctrine unifies our fragmented islands into one state. UNCLOS provides the framework for maritime zones, which distinguish between sovereignty and jurisdiction. Finally, the Permanent Court of Arbitration ruling in 2016 affirmed Philippine rights under UNCLOS, though political enforcement remains a challenge. So for the bar, always approach questions on territory by citing Article 1, explaining the doctrine of maritime zone, and citing jurisprudence like Magallona and the PCA ruling, and applying it